It's the holidays. Save your money. Gabby wants a Prada bag for Christmas.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Gabby. Hi! If you're new here, hi! And if you're not new here and you're not yet subscribed, you need to subscribe right now. We're on the road to 1K, And we're almost there. Oh my God, I'm so thankful for all of you. Oh my God. If you're not following my socials, my TikTok and my Instagram are down below. So you should go follow me. Keep up. Yeah. If you have any video recommendations that you would like to see, please leave them down below. Don't be shy. As long as I don't get copyrighted. Some videos I'll be putting down there, I will get copyrighted. But yes, let's make sure that it is something I can react to so we can be successful in our journey. Today, we're going to be reacting to the 10 most painful moments in WWE. Some of these spots I've probably seen before because I used to be like a wrestling list girly back in the day.
10 most painful looking spots in WWE. Number 10, an almost deadly 5-star frog splash. One of the things that Triple H has been known for is pushing through injuries to finish a match. Most fans associate the game with his quad tears in 2001 and 2007 respectively. However, there was an injury that Triple H suffered at the 2002 Survivor Series that could have legitimately changed his life forever. At the event, Triple H defended his world title against a number of top talents from the Raw brand inside the first ever Elimination Chamber. One of the most infamous spots in the match saw Rob Van Dam perform his finishing move, the 5-star frog splash from the top of the pod onto the Cerebral Assassin. Whilst this was visually something to behold, the reality was that RVD's shin landed on Triple H's throat, and this forced the game to be rushed into hospital after the match. And this is what RVD had to say when it came to the incident. It was not an easy calculation and I was off. I think I overshot a little bit, and as I was coming down, my shin came right across his throat. I felt horrible about it, but of course he continued the match to the point where I don't remember even knowing that he was hurt, at least not that bad.
Well, RVD, not to beat a dead horse, that spot looked off. You looked like, you know how he usually frog, your knees go, and your hands go, froggy, He didn't do that. It just looked like he just straight up just landed. He jumped a little bit in a silly, goofy mood, and yeah, he did have that momentum that he usually has. So that was not a frog splash. It was more like a log splash. So it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes.
Swanton bomb through a table. Wrestling's resident daredevil Jeff Hardy has made a career out of high-risk moves, and if Hardy himself says a spot was painful, then it must have been truly agonizing. In 2001, Hardy was wrestling Rob Van Dam on SmackDown, and in the match, Hardy was getting set to perform a swanton bomb from a ladder onto RVD, who was lying prone on the table. This spot was different compared to the usual high-risk table spots, as the table was set up in an unconventional manner. This meant that when Hardy would go through it, his head would smash through the hardest part of the table. Hardy would perform the move, and RVD would move out the way, so Hardy took the full force of the bump. It made for an uncomfortable viewing experience, and this is what Hardy had to say regarding the bump during an interview with TalkSport. That was my worst bump ever. If you're talking about one where I went through the table vertical, it was just straight to my back, and oh my god, it knocked the wind out of me the worst ever. When it comes to bumps, that hurt the most as far as getting the wind knocked out. My lower back for the next few weeks, oh, it was rough. I was like, oh, I don't think I'll ever want to go through a table vertically again, and I didn't, but I just had to do it. Just let me do it. I think it's going to be alright. And then when I went through the framing to the floor, and wow, it hurt. Number 8.
Jeff Hardy just be landing. Every wrestler puts their body at risk, but Jeff Hardy, he was really just...
bruh. Suplex onto the stage. The suplex onto the stage or ramp is a spot that is commonly used in WWE, and it's mainly used because it looks devastating and makes a huge sound that the crowd can react to. However, when Bianca Belair delivered the spot to Bayley in a last woman standing match in 2022, Bayley's back landed awkwardly, and this wasn't a case of Bayley selling, as she was legitimately in agony. Speaking to ESPN, Bayley would
Bayley's ring gear is giving, where's my super suit?
Discuss the bump, and she labeled it as one of the most painful spots she's ever been involved in. One of the worst ones I took was in Saudi Arabia last year when I had my last woman standing match with Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. It was just a suplex onto the ramp, a ramp that you had to walk down at the entrance. and that was one of the worst feelings I ever had in wrestling. It just knocked the wind out of me. I don't know what kind of ramp that was. I don't know if I wasn't ready for it or what, but it knocked the wind out of me. That was bad. I was not expecting that. Bayley went on to say that she felt like her lower back had crumbled. My lower back felt like it just crumbled from my tailbone and halfway up my back. It was one of those where you could feel it in your thighs. It shifted down to my thighs. It felt like it shattered and I was thrown into a cement wall. Spike Dudley misses the table. When a wrestler takes a bump through a table, the table is designed to cushion the fall and keep that wrestler safe. Usually a wrestler shouldn't come away with even a scratch or bruise, yet sometimes spots involving tables go horribly wrong. When La Resistance attempted to put Spike Dudley through a table on the outside of the ring on Raw in 2003, Dudley missed the table, yet his head bounced off the edge. Dudley had a terrific landing. He would have been in. Upon landing, Dudley immediately grabbed his head, and knowing what we know about head trauma, specifically CTE, this didn't make for pleasant viewing, and the spot has aged horribly. In relation to what went wrong with the spot, it was clear that the table was set up in the wrong place, and the table needed to be moved closer to the ring. Additionally, due to the two men throwing Dudley over, there was likely a miscommunication which led to him having such an unfortunate landing. Number 6. Gravesite landing. Mankind took some crazy bumps during his career, ranging from various bumps in thumbtacks to being thrown off the Hell in a Cell by The Undertaker. In 1999, during a Buried Alive match on SmackDown, he would be thrown from the stage by The Big Show, and the idea was that Mankind would land safely in the cushioned grave. Sadly, Mankind couldn't get enough momentum, so he landed awkwardly and painfully on top of the pre-built gravesite. According to Foley himself, he had slacked off on training but still felt that he was fit enough to make the clean jump into the grave. Unfortunately for Foley, as the spot was about to go down, he was extremely tired and realized how out of shape he was. When he eventually made the leap of faith, he put all his energy into making the leap, but ultimately crashed and burned.
I'm sure it did hurt, but like looking at the landing, it looked like it didn't hurt.
Really, nigga?
It just looked like a little bounce.
Steel chair nightmare. WWE are diligent when it comes to steel chair bumps, and due to the dangers of chairs, particularly when it comes to headshots, most chair bumps are taken on the back, shoulder, or leg. However, at the 2017 Rumble, Kevin Owens took the most dangerous steel chair bump of all time. On the outside of the ring, chairs were stacked in an untraditional manner, and Owens proceeded to take a bump from the ropes into the massive chairs. Owens landed horribly, as there was no way for Owens to land other than spiking his head on the corners and edges of the steel chairs. Owens was perfectly fine after the match, and this was a case of him knowing how far he could push his body. He would later speak incredibly highly of the match, and the spot itself was definitely a factor in the match being so well remembered amongst the fan base.
He must have thought he was going to go through the chairs like a table.
Mid-air chair shot. Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit had unbelievable chemistry in the ring. However, there are certain spots that the two delivered in their matches that have aged like milk. When the two collided in a ladder match at the 2001 Royal Rumble event, they delivered a spot which saw Benoit dive through the ropes onto Jericho, only for Jericho to counter it with a sickening chair shot to the skull. The sound of the steel bouncing off Benoit's skull is a sound that fans will never forget, and it was made even worse by the fact that Benoit didn't even have his hands up over his face. It's good news that WWE would never authorize wrestlers to take part in spots of this nature ever again, and this is a mandate that will never change, especially in the wake of new findings relating to head trauma and CTE. Number 3. Backdrop onto the announce table. A lot of painful spots in WWE occur when a planned spot goes wrong, and this was the case in 2021 when Rhea Ripley took on Raquel Rodriguez in NXT. The last women's standing match featured a spot which saw Ripley get backdropped onto the announce table. The table was of course designed to absorb the impact, yet the landing was off and Ripley's back bounced off the edge. Ripley looked to be in considerable pain, and the referee for the match immediately sprung into action to check if Ripley was injured. Speaking to ESPN, this is what the multi-time women's champion had to say regarding this spot. I've taken a lot of bad ones. There have been a lot of crappy bumps in my life. But one of the worst was my last women's standing match, which requires a wrestler to keep an opponent down for a 10 count rather than the traditional 3 with Raquel Rodriguez in NXT in 2021. She gave me a back body drop onto the announce table, but I didn't make it to the table completely. I hit the edge and then the table broke, but it legitimately screwed my back up and my lower back has never been the same. A lot of pain, it was just an awkward bump. Number 2. A wood puncture. A classic was seen in Madison Square Garden in early 2000 as Triple H and Cactus Jack collided in a critically acclaimed street fight at the Royal Rumble. The The match was responsible for the fans accepting the game as a main event level attraction, and Mick Foley, as he always did, went the extra mile to put him over. The match featured some truly heinous spots, yet there's one spot that would have caused long-term pain and damage to Triple H. That spot saw Triple H get suplexed by Foley onto 2 wooden pallets. If this wasn't painful enough, a piece of broken wood punctured the game's skin. It was so deep that Triple H required medical assistance for that wound following the match. And number 1, the Backlash 2003 stretcher spot. When Big Show defeated Rey Mysterio at the 2003 Backlash event, Mysterio was forced to exit the ring on a stretcher. However, Big Show decided to take things a step too far as he proceeded to throw the stretcher into a ring post. Due to Mysterio being strapped in, he had no way of protecting himself, so his head bounced right off the floor. It's an unpleasant spot to watch back, and hopefully a spot of this nature would never be approved today. According to Mysterio during an interview with Chris Van Vliet, the spot resulted in him being taken to hospital. I remember going over that and the Big Show and the production team were like, "Is that possible?" Yeah, it's definitely possible. We just never thought what would happen after he swung. There was no way he would be able to swing and hold on as if it was a bat. No, the way as soon as that hit, it went down. I went down with my arms strapped to my side head first. I remember Big Show going to the hospital because they took me straight there. Big Show was outside the room I was in and he wanted to come in the room and check on me. He was tearing up and he said, "Ray, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" The nurse left and obviously back then I had a bit of an issue with painkillers, so it was just us and I said, "Okay, Big Show, just try and get something for my pain." But there you have it, folks. 10 of the most painful spots in WWE.
Y'all, my camera just shut off. But anyway, as I was saying, I commend wrestlers for putting their bodies online to entertain us. I do backstage interviewing for an independent wrestling company here in Louisiana. I love it. But me getting in the ring, it ain't happening. The long-term effects of wrestling is one of those reasons why I just can't do it. Be grateful. Don't be rude to wrestlers, okay? Don't zumzu it, okay? Say your P's and Q's, tell them thank you, tell them that you appreciate them. Because they're really taking bumps. That damn mat is not foam, it's not soft, it's wood, steel, whatever you call it. You ain't falling on a pillow when you land on it, okay? It's real, it's real. Just wanted to tell y'all that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any other video recommendations, please let me know. And yeah, this was a short video. Oh my God. Oh well.